guys, how are y'all doing today? Alright, today we're going to take a look at Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh man, I'm such a big fan. If you're not familiar with it, it's a very successful series of horror video games that's made quite an impact on our culture. And I know they've been trying to adapt it into a movie for years now, so I'm really excited about this. I didn't even know it came out. So let's buckle down and take a look at, what's that? Willy's Wonderland? What is that, a porno? Oh, that's the movie we're looking at today? Starring Nicolas Cage, huh? Neat. So is it a porno? So guys, I guess today we're taking a look at Willy's Wonderland, the 2021 horror action comedy type film. Well, basically, it's sort of a B sci-fi channel horror movie, so that's what you get to expect. And you haven't guessed, it has a very clear parallel to Five Nights at Freddy's with the whole haunted animatronics and everything, so we have that to look forward to. Alright, so the essential plot is that we have Nicolas Cage playing as the silent protagonist, which, yes, by silent, I mean he doesn't speak one word in the entire film. I know, imagine Nicolas Cage not saying anything. I still have a hard time picturing that. So Nicolas Cage's character is lured into a town where there's a party place called Willy's Wonderland, which has been closed down for business for years because of a dark history. And it's pretty clear early on that the authorities of the town are in on the fact that they know the place is haunted. They lock Nicolas Cage into the place where he's expected to clean up the place to pay for his damaged car, well, part of the luring. But of course, he's actually being sacrificed to these haunted animatronics. And just in case any of you out there don't want it spoiled, I won't share what the backstory is of these animatronics, but you're really not missing much. So of course, the big question here is, how is Nicolas Cage in Five Nights at Freddy's? It's okay. And here's why. So first of all, there is a lot of the obvious poor choices that you have for filmmaking. You have a lot of the obvious edits. The film really loves its fisheye lenses, Dutch angles, and intense color grading. You know, and on one hand, these are not bad filmmaking techniques necessarily, but at the same time, they're used so often throughout the film and to such an intense degree that kind of makes you realize they're in overcompensation to try to make the film look more exciting. I mean, it seems pretty clear too, they were just barely making the hour 20-minute mark. You also really have these artsy scenes with the confetti, a pinball machine, and of course when Nicolas Cage has his rage moments. Oh god, there's just so many little decisions that just really kind of break the experience. So first of all, the background story is dumb. All the decisions that the characters make are dumb. There's really poor motivation for each character. Like, I mean, honestly, there's no character you feel bad for throughout the entire film. And again, I think my expectations are high because I've been watching a lot of decent movies lately, and it's been a while since I watched the Sci-Fi Channel, but ah, man. First of all, we're supposed to be in the middle of nowhere. I mean, the fact that Nicolas Cage doesn't look like he belongs in the town is obvious. They kind of hint at the fact that he's on the run from some kind of past, but they really don't delve too deep into it. But there's this group of kids who are onto the fact that this place needs to be destroyed, and they all look like they're from the city. They have a lot of makeup, they're all modelly, and they even talk like they're not from this nowhere town. So it was really distracting. I mean, there's this one lady sheriff in the movie that actually looks like she belongs. Visually, at least, she looks like she's part of the story. And she's actually one of the few details I liked in the movie. And honestly, if the other characters kind of looked as real as she did, I think we could have had a better experience here. And here's the thing, there's a lot of small details and poor decisions that just destroy the immersion of the film. Not once did I ever feel like the characters were in danger or really feel a sense of dread or suspense. A lot of that is taken care of pretty early on in the film. I mean, when you have an animatronic that says, "I'm gonna eat your eyes and feast on your soul," it's kind of hard to take it seriously after that. But here's how I decided to view the movie. It seems pretty obvious from the get-go that this is a very Nicolas Cage influenced film. Is it any surprise that he has his fingerprints all over the movie, from a producer's standpoint as well as a starring role? Because let's face it, he's the silent badass that can tear apart machines with his bare hands, and has this very unusual habit of taking a break whenever his watch alarm goes off to chug down energy drinks while he plays pinball. And every so often, he has his occasional cage rages. You can kind of sense a personal taste here. But you know, in a way, that's what makes this movie even better. Honestly, if this was another Sci-Fi Channel movie, I'd probably say, don't waste your time. But it's the fact that it's a Nicolas Cage romp through a horror thriller action comedy movie is what makes it a guilty pleasure. If you keep the perspective that this is Nicolas Cage on set having fun, suddenly it's like twice as entertaining. In all honesty, I could watch this movie again with that in mind. So the funny story behind this production The screenplay was written by G.O. Patterson, who's a theater writer and producer. He was told to expand upon his career by writing for film. He came up with a shorter version of this movie and put it on Bloodlist, where it got the attention of Nicolas Cage, and the rest is history. So in other words, you can blame Cage for picking up this movie. You know, it's funny because, I mean, it's very clearly a low-budget film at $5 million, which, yes, that is low budget. And it's barely made its money back, but it's kind of been making the rounds on websites currently, and which is how I learned about it. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be picking up speed, or rather, the movie deserves it or not. And like I said, though, keeping that perspective, it kind of is. I mean, to be frank, I'm more excited for that Five Nights at Freddy movie that we've been promised for years, but anyway, in the meantime, this was a nice distraction. Alright, so, in conclusion, the editing overcompensates for a lot of the film. There's a lot of things that aren't explained very well. There's a lot of dumb decisions from the characters and from the producers. And it's just incredibly campy. But even with all that, it's still getting a sequel. What? So do I recommend it? It depends on you. If you're fine with some sci-fi channel campiness, then yeah, you'll probably get a kick out of it. Especially if you're a fan of Nicolas Cage, yeah, you'll totally get a thrill out of this movie. So with that said, Willy's Wonderland gets my score of 1.5 stars. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Have you all seen Willy's Wonderland yet? And if not, what else have you been watching lately? Comment below, let me know, and of course, stay tuned if you all want to see more.